Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I can guarantee you this is not going to be the only story that comes out this Halloween, evening, afternoon, or night. I'm just taking a quick second before we get into this so I can tell you once again about the book that, it's out right now actually. Tales from the Gas Station, Volume 1, is actually available right now. Should be able to get it on the Amazon link that is in the description down below. So, if you're a fan of the Tales from the Gas Station series, or Gas Station Jack, or Jerry, or the Bathroom Cowboy, or Kiefer, then you definitely want to check out this book, because it's kind of the thing that all of you have been commenting on every single video since Tales from the Gas Station has started. There you go. So, on to tonight's story. Once again, I'd like to apologize for the delayed follow-up. I had to take care of some things. So now, where did I leave off? Right. I was trying to explain what happened at the carnival. But then someone came sneaking into the gas station through the back door. I didn't want to take any chances, so I grabbed my trusty baseball bat, slipped out from behind the counter, and I could hear the guy breathing, sneaking around the snack rack on the chip aisle. A lot can be said about having home field advantage, because even though he was smooth and quiet and heavily armed, I managed to slip right up behind him without even giving myself away. He's wearing a camo jacket and had an ammo belt wrapped around his waist. He was doing a crouch walk like some kind of soldier. Whoever he was, he'd come here looking for a fight. I got in a striking position and raised my bat over my head, knowing that I'd probably only get one shot at incapacitating him, but somehow, in the time it took for my bat to come down as fast as I could swing it, the man spun around and caught it in the palm of his gargantuan hand. I froze. That was so incredibly cool that I couldn't even come up with a correct reaction. Before I could find the words to say, the man stood up straight and yanked my weapon away from me. He towered over me, and the look on his face made it clear that he was royally pissed off. And rightfully so. I'd nearly given him another concussion, and all because I assumed he was here to kill me. "Oh," I said as the realization dawned on me. "It's you." "Jack!" screamed Benjamin as he tossed my baseball bat behind him. "What in the ever-loving hell is wrong with you?" "Oh, sorry. You had a mosquito. I was trying to get it before He grabbed me by the neck and proceeded to drag me into the bathroom. For those of you that are new to the gas station, I suppose I should explain. Benjamin is the guy who showed up out of the blue a few months back. He's a big, muscular weirdo with a Duck Dynasty beard and a strange fascination with guns and knives. I have absolutely no idea who pays him or where he comes from or what his deal is. But he's proven himself to be highly capable, if not, overly trigger-happy, in cases of supernatural pests. And we're not friends, but there's a certain level of professional courtesy between the two of us, even though he almost intentionally blew me up one time. But that's a whole other story. Benjamin filled the sink with cold water, grabbed me by the back of my neck with his gargantuan monster-killing hands, and forced my face subaqueous. That was on my word of the day calendar, a while back, and this is like my first time being able to use it in a sentence. Yay. I assumed he'd finally gone off the deep end, and this was his way of conserving ammo while putting me down. But like so many other near-death experiences, this one ended just a few seconds before I'd determined that I was certain to die. He yanked me back out of the water like a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat, then he tossed me to the ground. I hacked and spat and coughed until my throat was cleared enough for me to breathe normally, and asked, "Why?" "I need to get your blood flowing again. Your brain is mush, and I can't work with you if you ain't got no sense left." He crouched down next to me on the ground and smacked me across the face. Hard. Definitely harder than he needed to, I think. But who am I to question his methods? He's an expert. "Ow." "How long you been moping around this place all by yourself?" I tried to think, but I couldn't exactly nail down the correct answer with any accuracy. More than a few weeks. Less than 3 months. We'd run out of nearly every supply, and if the stack of overdue notices underneath the counter were to be believed, the phone and electric companies would be shutting off our utilities any day now. I'd been rotating through the same box of clothes for longer than I cared to admit, washing them in the bathroom and hanging them out back to dry. At least until the guy in the bear costume stole my favorite pair of pants, and since then I started leaving wet clothes in a drying rack in the supply closet. I looked Benjamin in the eyes and answered, "A while." He grabbed me by the collar and started standing me up and pulling me to my feet. "All right, kid. You still have any coffee in this dump?" As a matter of fact, we do. "Good. Make sure you use bottled water. Start us up a fresh pot. I'm gonna go lock the doors. You can tell me what the hell happened. Sound good?" Typical Benjamin fashion, he didn't wait for me to answer. He pulled out one of those fancy handguns that probably weighs as much as a small child, and then went to secure the perimeter. I made the pot of coffee extra strong. Something told me that we were going to need it. In 10 minutes, we were back in the booth by the door. Benjamin's idea of locking up involved chains and actual locks, and pushing the new frozen drink machine flush against the door so nobody could see in or out. I sipped my coffee. Benjamin gulped his down in 3 loud swallows. "All right, you unmentally stable son of a bitch. Let's get on with it. What's going on this time? I got alarm bells going off left and right. All these reports keep tying back to your shithole of a town. I arrived yesterday, you know what I see? Nothing out of the ordinary. Place perfect. Full of happy Stepford wives and smiling children and folks mowing their lawns. What am I missing?" I tried taking a bigger sip of coffee just to see how hard it must have been for him to down it like that, but I ended up burning the roof of my mouth and instantly dropping it all back into the cup with an awkward Benjamin narrowed his eyes at me. If he'd seen this town before everything started, you'd already know what's wrong. People don't mow. They don't smile, and they sure as hell can't be described as happy or perfect unless you're aiming for ironic. "Okay," he said. "So what are we dealing with? Mind control? Something in the water?" Well, I wish it was that simple. "Well then what is it?" He was growing more impatient by the second. "It's an invasion. Those people you saw in the town, they're not real." Benjamin laughed. It ended as abruptly as it started once he realized that I was being serious, and a look of bemusement slid right off his face. "Elaborate on not real for me, please." Shit got weirder than usual, and now all the people in town have been replaced by something else. I could hear the sound of the seat beneath him creaking loudly as Benjamin leaned forward to ask, "Well then, what happened to all the originals?" "I don't know," I answered. "I assume they're all dead, but that might just be my irrational optimism." Benjamin looked around the store. "Where are your friends?" "Gone." "Gone?" "Yeah." He put his gigantic hand through his beard as he thought for a second and then said, "All right. Well, I'm going to need you to dig real deep. I need you to pull yourself together for a little bit longer, and I need you to tell me exactly what happened here. Can you do that?" "I can try." "Good." Benjamin made himself another cup of coffee. Then I explained how it all went down. First I filled him in on the doctor trying to buy the gas station, then Farmer Jr., then the rest of the carnival. O'Brien let us know that she was going to need to go to work. We just stumbled into an active crime scene and the viciously deconstructed body of an old frenemy nailed to a wall. She wanted to make sure we were going to be okay, but we had no good way to get out of there without her. I was the only sober one in the group. Rosa finished Jerry's flask to calm her nerves, and I still only had one leg. Therefore couldn't operate a motor vehicle. O'Brien found an empty circus tent and told us to stay put there until her backup arrived to take over. We stood around in a covered 10x20 pop-up, trying hard to find something to say or do to pass the time. Jerry took out a pack of smokes and offered them to us. We both declined and watched as he lit one up. Eventually, Rosa broke her silence. "What do you think happened to him? You think he had some kind of accident while he was in there?" Jerry answered, "Oh yeah, probably. The guy was a huge klutz, always playing with nail guns and stuff." I genuinely couldn't tell if he was being a sarcastic dick or if he was trying to tell a bad lie to help Rosa believe what she needed to not freak out even worse. Either way, I ruined it as soon as I spoke. FJ was missing his jawbone. No. Somebody put him in there. They wanted him to be found like that. Rosa began silently crying. Now I felt like the asshole, but she probably needed to know the truth. Our lives are weird and dangerous, and there's no room for innocent people in this town. I think Jerry actually said those exact words during Vanessa's funeral. Somebody coughed. We all looked at one another. Jerry asked, "Who was that?" Sound was coming directly from inside the tent. I was really starting to regret that the only one in our group with any weapon and combat experience had left us alone in here, like sitting ducks, knowing full well that Spencer Middleton was still out there somewhere, hunting me. Why did I ever agree to come here and do this in the first place? Jerry walked towards the back of our tent. Times like these, or when I really wonder how this guy manages to stay alive for so long. "Jerry!" I called out. He looked back at me and answered, "Don't worry, I'm just gonna go investigate that mysterious noise coming from behind the strange curtain in the back of this dark tent next to the horror house where we found the dead body. I'll be right back." "Be careful," Rosa managed. Jerry reached the back of the tent and pulled away the thin curtain hanging there in a small space on the other side. Someone had tucked away a box covered in red fabric. It stood maybe 3 feet high, 3 feet wide. Jerry looked back our way. I started towards him with Rosa behind me. Maybe we shouldn't be messing around in here," I offered. Before Jerry had a chance to respond, we heard a strange whimpering noise emanating from beneath the blanket. We all froze and stared at the box. That noise sounded almost human. "Yo!" Jerry said. "Is somebody in there?" We waited. But there was no response. Before I could suggest we turn around and pretend we didn't hear anything, Jerry grabbed the fabric by the corner and announced, "Well, I hope you're wearing pants." I yelled out, "Jerry, wait!" But it was too late. He yanked the fabric off the top in one quick, smooth motion, uncovering what was underneath. Rosa gasped. It was a cage. Something akin to a dog kennel. Sitting inside, tucked away in the corner, was a small child wearing nothing but a pair of strange shorts. The bottom of the cage was littered with blood and hay and a half-empty bowl of water on one side. Jerry took a step back and muttered, "Jeebus titty fucking Christus." The child calmly looked at each of us, one at a time, focusing for a few seconds before switching to the next. There was something a little off about the child. I'm not just saying that because his eyes were freakishly huge and solid black, or because his skin was entirely purple. No, there was something harder to explain that was simply wrong about him. Assuming it was a him, given the lack of hair and the strange face, it really was nothing more than an educated guess. Eventually, Rosa broke free from the shock and rushed up to the cage, trying to find a way to open it, saying to the child, "Oh my God, are you okay? You must be freezing. What's your name? Are you okay? How did you get in here? Guys, help me open this thing. Where are your parents? Oh my God, what are you doing in here? Are you all right?" She grabbed a hold of the bars of the cage and started shaking them forcefully, but they were solid steel, and her tiny hands weren't going to do much to get through. Jerry calmly walked around here and crouched next to the cage, where the door was latched and secured with 2 separate heavy-duty locks. The kid didn't seem to mind either of them anymore. While they worked on the cage, he stared straight at me. "Hi," I said. "Hello." Wait, did he just answer me? No, hang on, impossible. His mouth didn't move, and that noise certainly didn't come from inside the cage. Where did that voice come from, anyway? Sometimes I forget that my brain has a tendency to misfire. Jerry stood up. "Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get through those locks." Rosa pulled off her blue jean jacket and squeezed it through the bars, screaming, "Who would leave a child out here like this?" She tried to throw her jacket onto the kid, but it landed near his feet, and he simply looked at it. Then back up at me. "Okay, Jack," Jerry stated. "What do we do?" Why are you asking me? "Well, you've got seniority." "I'm younger than you." "No, I mean gas station seniority. You outrank us, so you're the boss. Duh. What do we do?" "Yeah, Jack, what do we do?" I looked down at the child. Did he just... For a split second, I swear I saw him crack a smile. "All right. You stay here with the purple kid. Make sure he's safe. I'm gonna go find O'Brien." Great. A moment to come up with a plan, and the best I can do is, let's split up, gang, but seriously, what other options were there? "Be careful," Jerry warned, as he put an arm around the shivering Rosa. "Look, I'm not saying this ain't terribly interesting," interrupted Benjamin sarcastically, "but you've been talking for like half an hour, and I still don't see what this has to do with any invasion. Have you forgotten what story you're telling?" "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I boring you?"
I just want you to get on with it.
I'm trying, but this is important.
All right, look, telling me about how Rosa was shivering, these details are important?
Yes, Benjamin. All of this is important.
Okay, fine. Keep going. I'm all ears. Finish your damn story.
I refilled our coffees and got back to it, right where I left off. I didn't make it far before regretting leaving the relative safety of the pop-up tent. The carnival was still in full swing, with visitors and carnies and performers walking about in a huge crowd with plenty of places for Spencer or any other psychopath to be hiding in plain sight. This was a major event. It would take a lot more than a simple murder to harsh this town's mellow. Sure, most of them probably didn't even know what had happened. Besides a makeshift closed for repairs sign on the front of the haunted Hell House attraction, the carnival was pretty much business as usual. I looked around to try to find O'Brien or any other member of the law enforcement community, but while I was scanning the crowds, somebody walked by and kicked one of my crutches out from under me, and I plummeted straight to the ground. I didn't get a good look at them, but I heard their group laugh like it was the funniest thing they'd ever seen. I caught a glimpse of two of them high-five as they walked away. God, I really hate people sometimes. As I struggled to right myself, I heard a deep southern voice ask,
"You need some help there, son."
I looked up to see Dr. Howard walking towards me, with a big fluff of pink cotton candy in one hand. He extended his free arm to help me up. I positioned my crutches and said, "It's okay, I got this." I've gotten pretty good at picking myself up off the ground. After I managed to get back on my feet, or rather, foot, the doctor took a big bite out of his cotton candy and said, "Mr. Townsend, what a strange coincidence running into you like this. What happened to all your friends?" I patted the dirt off my pants and answered, "Yeah, wouldn't you like to know?" He gave me a look, one that I'll never forget, almost like he felt sorry for me. And that really, really pissed me the fuck off. "Look, Jack, can I call you Jack?" "I guess." "I feel like we got off on the wrong foot. I didn't mean that as a... It's fine, I get it. I'm trying to say that the first impressions are precious, aren't they? And I may have messed up. I'd like to apologize for my rude behavior." "Don't mention it." I started to move past him, but he took a step into my path. He wasn't ready to end our conversation. "Well, I suppose congratulations are in order." "What?" "Well, I heard about what happened to the previous owners. For that, you certainly have my condolences. But when life closes one door, you know the expression, I think you've been given a terrific, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This kind of responsibility, though, it's not to be taken lightly, and I want to make sure that you're not being given the wrong kind of advice. I am a businessman, after all, and I've seen plenty of people in your position lose everything just because they don't know who to trust." I rolled my eyes hard enough that there was no way he couldn't see it, then said, "Thanks," as I tried to take a step around him. He blocked my path once again. "I mean, what did your friends say when you told them?" I locked eyes with the doctor. He read my silence and knew why I wasn't answering. He let out a good, deep chuckle and said, "Oh, you haven't told them, have you?" I was waiting for the right time. Why was I even answering this guy? I didn't owe him anything. "You haven't told your friends that the owners left you the gas station in their will?" "No." "How interesting." He picked up a tiny tuft of cotton candy off the stick and tucked it into his mouth, then licked his fingers one at a time before repeating himself, "How interesting. Look, it's just not important." "Oh, if it's not important, then why didn't you tell them?" "I don't know." "What is it about you gas station employees and keeping secrets? You, Jerry, that other guy?" "Hey, I know all about Jerry's past." The doctor laughed. "Oh, no, you don't." "Yes, I do. I know he's secretly rich. He ran away to join a cult. His parents are looking for him." "Wow. Well, if that's what you think his secret is, then I got news for you. You do not know your friend nearly as well as you think you do." "Well, this has been lovely," I said, trying once again to move around the doctor, "but I've got to get going. I found an abandoned child, and now I need to find the authorities." That wiped the smug look right off the doctor's face. "An abandoned child? Where? Here?" I started moving through the crowd, but the doctor kept along right next to me. Yeah, so what do you care? Jack, I'm not a monster. If there's a child that needs help, I'm going to do what I can. I know the owners of this venue, and child endangerment will not stand. He put his fingers to his mouth and let out an incredibly loud, shrill whistle, then yelled at someone that I couldn't see. Hey, Felix, over here! A few seconds later, a pasty security guard with a porn star mustache and a name badge that read F. Gabriel cut through the crowd to reach us. Yes, Mr. Howard. Felix, this young man said he found a child that's in need of help. I need this situation to be rectified yesterday. Do you understand? I'm holding you personally responsible for this. Yes, Mr. Howard.
Now hold up,
Benjamin said, interrupting my story yet again. What?
I gotta take a piss and then check our perimeter. Something tells me this story is gonna be much longer than I anticipated. You're gonna be good and not go crazy until I get back?
I can try.
Good.
And that pretty much brings us up to where we are now. Benjamin's walking around the building. I have no idea what he thinks he's looking for, but I figured I'd make the most out of my time by writing this update until he gets back. Come to think of it, he's been out there for a while. Wonder what's taking him so long. When he does get back, I'm gonna tell him the rest of the story. Not really looking forward to it. I know he has an open mind and everything, but well, things are about to get really weird, and I don't blame anyone if they don't believe me, or if they hate me for what happens next. So I'm gonna let you all know right now that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for what happens next. Hey there kids, and happy October. It's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I just wanted to tell you a couple things that are happening this October that haven't ever happened before. First off, if you take a look at the channel, you'll notice that I'm currently live. That's right, we started up doing a Halloween horror radio program. That means 24/7 without interruption, you'll be hearing CreepyPasta stories, read by yours truly. And as well as a few other guests that we've had on the channel before. The other thing are Halloween exclusive t-shirts. These t-shirts are available in the MrCreepyPasta link down below in the description. Actually, at any point if you want to check out the description, feel free to scroll down and see what kind of cool stuff's going on down there. Oh, and of course, the Halloween countdown starts on the 18th. Look forward to seeing you all. And sweet dreams.